Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to another episode of Coffee with Conscious Coaches. I'm Poonam. I'm a mom of two grown-up boys. So I've done the journey that you're on, and we are here to discuss conscious parenting.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna. I'm a doula. I'm also a conscious parenting coach and mom to a sweet 8-year-old son.
Hi,
So-
everyone. Hi.
Hi, Fatih. Where are you?
Hi. I am currently in Finland. It has
Yay.
my first time in snow, so that's been different, amazing. And I just want to say hi to everyone all the way from Finland. I am a conscious parenting coach as well, and a Montessori educator, and just learning how to enjoy each present moment as it comes.
Like every time, we'll draw a card from Dr. Shefali's pack of cards. And whatever is on the card, we'll have that discussion today. So, Anna, could you please?
So here we
take out
go. We'll shuffle a bit, make it real intriguing to see what we get.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we'll just draw from here. This is so cute. When you can truly see your children for who it is they are, you allow them to know self-love.
Wow. When you truly see your children for who they are, oh, wow. That is so magical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because whenever most of us, like when I was raising my boys, until I became conscious, I was viewing them and their activities and their achievements and whatever they failed at from my own perspective and from my own expectation. So I was measuring everything by how I expected them to be. I wasn't on that journey with them where I was curious to know who they are. I had an expectation of who they were, and it is so beautiful because if we are being trained, so let's say if I'm a child and my mother has expectation, which everyone does, like I'm not, I wouldn't say that I feel bad about it because I just feel that I was doing my best from what I knew. So I don't want to feel guilty about it, but I was not so conscious, not as conscious as I am now. And I'm still on a journey. There's lots to learn. So all the parents who are listening to this, I want to tell them, you can change it from today. So we all mess up. We are all human beings. We look at our children through the lens of what we've learned in the society, in the culture, and that becomes our checklist because that's how we were raised. And our parents were raised that way and their parents were raised that way. So it's not a blame game, but when you become conscious, you would look at your child for who they are and then walk the path with them and the journey that they are treading. And when you see that, you will see so much beauty in how the universe has created them, so much power and so much knowledge in that exploration and that curiosity. And if you learn to do that, that's when the children will feel confident in themselves, and that's when they'll love themselves.
Yeah.
Because we don't give that opportunity to them. Because we're constantly wanting them to be something else. And when we are wanting them to be something else, that's when they start feeling maybe they are not capable, maybe they're not good enough. And then they start pretending because they know that they have to pretend to please us. And when they start pretending, then they don't have that joy in being who they are, and they can't love themselves. And I think that's the sad thing today. We are always, all of us adults, we are looking for that validation outside because we don't feel confident in who we are, you know? So, and you can start that from now and change the perspective. And I've started doing that ever since I've become more conscious. The way I talk to my children, the way we communicate with each other, I just watch them and take so much joy in the people that they are, like not expecting them to be in a certain way or behave in a certain way, you know, and just and it is, you know, how Anna was saying, this nature outside is mesmerizing. Watching your kids and understanding who they are and learning with curiosity, that's mesmerizing too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Very.
I think it's it's so profound and so complex, and it's almost like a 3D world that you enter that you don't know where it ends or how many rooms it has or what is behind the door. And I think what we do is we look at life very 2D, very black and white. And
Yeah.
that comes from fear. And I think it is in part based on the priority of our survival instinct, right? Because when we become conscious, we separate from the survival instinct and we tap into intuition, which is so different. Instinct is almost there to protect us at any cost, right? It doesn't really care about thriving or being fulfilled. But through consciousness, we can enter and learn to like navigate this 3D world of life and understand that there's so many layers to it. And I think the cool thing about kids is that they bring up resistance right from the get-go. They have, I don't know, maybe it's just how I see them, but I see that they almost protect their intuition when they're young and unconscious and underdeveloped in their neurology. Their spirit is so powerful that it protects them through their resistance against the parents. The reason they resist and they throw tantrums and they say no, and because they're protecting their sovereignty, they're trying to protect what is right for them that you're not seeing. You're making them do something else and they don't want to. So they don't know how to communicate because you're not listening. Even when they throw a tantrum, you know, we're like, oh, if we're in public, maybe we'll stop. And so if you look at it that way, you reframe, you flip the world around and you start to bring that curiosity that you're talking about, Poonam, to be like, okay, so what is going on? Instead of looking at the behavior and being like bad, you know, black and white, good or bad. So tantrums are bad. You look at it like, what's going on? What's happening over here? What are they trying to say? And when you enter curiosity with the child, they'll forgive you instantly. They're so beautiful, right? Just like those trees outside Fati's background. Like you go chop it, it won't do anything to you, right? You can rip a branch, you can destroy it. It'll just sit there. And kids are kind of like that. They're very anchored in their nature. You yell at them now, and if you go with curiosity, you know, the smaller the child, the more instant their presence is in forgiving that you've hurt them. And they have the desire and the ability to tell you what they want, but you have to ask them. You have to open that door. They don't know how to make you do that. They don't know how to explain it to you because it's just intuition. It's just our nature. So if we learn these little conscious bits, they're like little golden nuggets that we can then test out, you know, just take it as an experiment. You can try it with your kids and see what they react as, but I can almost guarantee that a small child, like 4, 5, 6, you know, where they have a little bit of language, they will open up and tell you what they actually want. And then you can sit with that and see the difference.
One thing
Yeah,
came
that-
to mind when you said that, Anna, is that if we don't know who we are, how can they know us?
yeah,
And that's the thing, right? That's what happens to us when we were younger, is that we, I thought of we spoke about once before, was that the kid comes with this light, as did each one of us. And around us is this glass, and it's clear, and they just come as this sovereign being. And what we do is we project our fears on them. We condition them to how we want them to be. We, as you said, we put expectations on them. And so what happens is that glass starts getting misted, just like when there's ice, right? And so that's what happens to each one of us. And how do we break through of that? Is by finding pieces of ourselves. And as that breaks through, we start seeing glimpses of that light showing up. And so we want to try to not cover that glass. We want to try to not cover our child's light. And I think that's so important, because if we see them for who they are, firstly, if we see us for who we are, we can see them for who they are. But if we can't see ourselves, it's very difficult to see them. And as you're saying, like a child will teach you how to be present, because they are present in that moment. They're not thinking about what I need to do later. They're not thinking about, or they probably like, I need to pee right now. But they don't want to, because they're too busy consumed in that moment. They're too busy present. So they're not thinking about that in the moment. They're just in the moment. And that's something they can teach us, and that goes to as our last week's card, where it said that our children are our teachers. And so if you see them for who they are teaching us in that moment, in every moment. So it was so beautiful to,
yeah. And the other thing that Anna, you were talking about, you know, when you said they're throwing tantrums and whatnot, what came to my mind is what Dr. Gabor Mate says all the time. He says parents always talk about their kids acting out. So he says you need to understand that they're literally acting out because they don't have the words to express what they feel. So if you understand that they're acting out, we are neurologically wired to feel our own power. And when we take that power away from our kids, trying to dictate how they have to be and not accepting how they already are, that's when they act out, because it causes a discomfort, because they need to have that power. We all need to have, we all wired like that.
right.
So the problem arises when the parent is exerting their power and the child is exerting theirs. They have equal right to have that, you know?
Yes.
So if we look beyond the acting out and try to connect with them, then they will feel that power and they will feel seen. And when they feel seen, that's when they will love themselves, you know, because they will understand that whoever they are, that is accepted. And that's cared for, you know, and that will give them that confidence that, okay, I can love myself. I'm lovable because my parent is loving me. So we need to see, you know, am I connecting with my child in that manner? Or am I just a bag full of expectations and that's what I'm offloading on my child? This is how you have to be, and that's when you get loved. So our love becomes conditional. You can become an observer of how you think, and you have the power to change it. And you have the power to change it for all the generations to come. Look at the impact that you would be having, you know? So today, if you can see your child for who they are, they will be able to love themselves. And then they will be able to show others how they can love themselves. And look at the chain reaction. Can you see how far and wide this would go if you just make a decision today to accept your child for who they are?
Ah, this is so powerful. I love it. Yeah. It's truly fascinating. It's a fascinating world to get into and to discover and to dig and to make sense of it. It has so much depth and so much beauty, and it comes with a lot of gifts, with acceptance, with forgiveness, with compassion. Like in my journey, whenever I've reached a point of feeling all that towards myself, I mean, it was just, heartwarming and teary eyes, and just like to experience what it is to accept yourself for your flaws, for your limitations, and to forgive yourselves for not being conscious and not knowing better, and to move on. You free yourself of that energy, and you can move on in a much more conscious way.
I think like we spoke about many key factors and things that could allow us to bring awareness. And I think I can give you like a few of what is, I like that when you said, Poonam, watching your child's behavior. And I think a little tool that we could leave with someone would be that one of them could be asking, what does my child need in this moment from me? Also giving them the language. I think that's so important. And I'll end with this, because yesterday was the most fascinating experience for me, where it was like little snow particles. But I was so in the present moment, because as I sat there, I just would see like each snow particle fall. But as they fell, they'd fall on my jacket. And I'd see the little, I forget what you call it now. The snowflake, but it was like in the snowflake pattern. But each one was so different and so unique. And that just makes you realize like each person is so different and so unique in their own way. And I think that's what makes it so magical, is that if you're present in that moment, you see things from a whole new lens. Like I wouldn't have been able to just like sit there and be present and take in this moment if I wasn't really that conscious. I would just like, oh, it's snow. But like
you would complain about the cold, or you would want to go eat a burger or whatever, but instead you stop, and within each moment there's so much magic, like and then you realize like you're privileged to be able to do this, and you understand, and it's just a different way of looking at life and living life. Oh, it's so amazing.
Yeah, and we can do the same for our kids. The universe has created each of our kids with individual shape and form, which is so lovable. But we fail to see it because we've got a lens of what we want them to look like. So I hope our audience will come with us on this journey of learning conscious parenting and raising their kids with so much love, affection, and joy that they create that generations and generations of aware human beings, which will just change this world. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.